This was the fight. This was it. Nothing fanciful. The fight. That said it all.
It was the essence of one against one. This stoic man from Beaufort, South Carolina, against this handsome, brash, outspoken guy became bigger than life.
The greatest sporting event of the 20th century. Two undefeated heavyweight champions against a backdrop unique in history.
This was the Crusades. Patriotic America versus radical America.
Here's this collision between the black militant and the black Tom. Who's gonna win?
It was what boxing was meant to be, a real killing ground.
It was a fashion show. It was a celebrity walk. Everybody from every aspect of the entertainment and sports industry was there.
On March 8, 1971, the eyes of the world were focused on a small square of illuminated canvas. Whatever you did, whoever you were, that night, that's where you wanted to be.
Why was this fight so much more about America than it was about boxing? Why could everyone appreciate this confrontation between two undefeated heavyweights? To understand March 8th, 1971, you had to know who these fighters were and where they came from.
Joe Frazier was as different from Ali as night and day. Ali came from a middle-class Louisville family, had aunts that were teachers. Frazier came from what was then the hunger capital of America, Beaufort, South Carolina. At a very early age, he worked in the fields. He'd arrive in the morning, little after dawn, and he'd say, "Morning, boss," and the boss would say, "To the mule." And then the day would end, and he'd say, "Quitting time, boss," and the boss would say, "In the morning." This was the way the white world and the black world fit together in his Beaufort.
So in 1959, 15-year-old Joe Frazier left Beaufort and settled in Philadelphia, where he worked days in a slaughterhouse and nights learning to box.
The most exciting fighter in Rome this year was Cassius Clay.
That was his name then, a 19-year-old Olympic gold medalist who suddenly was the talk of boxing.
I was shadow boxing early in the day. I figured I was ready for Cassius Clay. I said, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, Cassius Clay, here I come."
Drew float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Hey! Rumble, young man, rumble. Hey!
The most charismatic athlete I've been around. The whole current to his behavior was to amuse and to entertain.
And if you like to lose your mind, be a fool on that old body.
There were a lot of fools. In their 1964 title bout, Sonny Liston was a 7-to-1 favorite.
Another jarring right hand that time, folks. Another one. Sonny,
But the Louisville Lip had the last word and the loudest.
We start saying, "I'm pretty, I'm the greatest." Things like that we'd never said before. And we say them anywhere, and we started looking at ourselves like we were pretty and that we were great because of Cassius Clay.
But now that he was the champ, he suddenly announced that he was a black Muslim.
I charge the white man with being the greatest liar on earth.
A group of Negro dissenters is taking to street corner stepladders across the United States to preach a gospel of hate.
The Nation of Islam, as we know, was dominated primarily by ne'er-do-wells, criminals, ex-prostitutes, drug dealers, pimps, pushers, etc. So to have a guy who didn't have a prison record was a radiant young man of the moment come into that organization with a very big coup.
Cassius is not my name no more. Officially Muhammad Ali now. Muhammad Ali, right. Muhammad Ali, that's my name.
For Cassius Clay to announce that he was now a member of the Nation of Islam, I think it sent, in many ways, shockwaves through the white establishment. And, of course, the end of the love affair with Cassius Clay, despite his skills as a fighter.
Joe Frazier of Philadelphia, 6'1", 196 pounds, a hard hitter.
Even with a dislocated thumb, Joe Frazier won the Olympic heavyweight gold medal at Tokyo in 1964, 4 years after Ali had won his. But when Joe returned to Philadelphia, That gold medal did not pay the bills.
Joe Frazier came home from the Olympics with a busted thumb and a busted bankroll. He didn't even have a job. It's close to Christmas, and I'm doing a radio show, and I asked the listeners to contribute toys for Joe's kids.
People all around the world send gifts, presents, checks, cash, and it really came out to be a good Christmas for the kids.
Because his thumb needed surgery, Joe waited nearly a year to make his pro debut in August 1965, a first-round knockout of Woody Goss. His payday? Joe kept the money from the tickets he sold to his own fight, about $125.
And I remember the guy from the Associated Press asking Joe, did he want to fight Clay next? And Joe said, hey, slow down a little, you know.
That December, 40 Philadelphia businessmen, black and white, formed Cloverlay Inc. to back Joe's career. He got $100 a week, a percentage of the purse, and financial peace of mind.
They put together 80 shares at $250 a share, but nobody thought they were going to get rich on this.
Under the tutelage of manager Yank Durham, Frazier's career was building steadily, but not spectacularly. He was undefeated, but went largely unnoticed. At that time, there was only one fighter who got all the attention.
I'm the resurrect of the fight game.
You are.
If it wasn't for me, the whole thing would be dead.
I guess that's true.
He was the champ, and I was coming along 4 years behind, and I said, I don't believe that he could whip me.
I remember in 1966, Joe and I were at the Concord Hotel, and we were watching TV, and we were watching Muhammad Ali fight Henry Cooper, and he's saying, if I had that opportunity to be within the ring, he'd be laying on his back right now. I just want that opportunity, man.
But in 1967, the U.S. government's selective service system would beat Joe to the punch.
Prevail in Vietnam over the communist aggression.
Cassius Clay, or as he prefers to be called, Muhammad Ali, reports to an Army induction center in Houston, Texas. However, he says he will refuse on religious grounds to take the Army oath, an act that could cost him a $10,000 fine or a 5-year prison sentence or both.
He said, quote, ain't no Viet Cong ever called me nigger.
He didn't understand why we were fighting a war thousands of miles away, and what would happen if the communists won. What would it mean? Hello? Are you missing silverware at home?
So going to war would help my people receive their freedoms just as an equality. You wouldn't have to draft me, I'll go tomorrow.
I remember very vividly that Cassius Clay suddenly became the great enemy of our family, and the comments that were being made around the dinner table were the same comments that were being made around the country. Oh yeah, he's so big and strong, he'll fight in a ring, but he's afraid to fight in Vietnam. He's a coward.
I respected Cassius as one of the great fighters of all time, but I think this hurts him, certainly in my eyesight.
I think it's very bad, especially a guy who had made a lot of money in this country.
Joe Louis went into the United States Army. Why can't Muhammad Ali serve this country that has been so good to him?
People growing up today don't have any sense at all of how hated and despised and feared and reviled he was.
Do you think there's anything wrong in someone like Cassius Clay refusing induction?
Yes, sir, I certainly do.
Why?
Because he's no better than the rest of us.
The government announces it will institute felony charges. Mr. Clay's lawyers say they will appeal, and World Boxing Organizations announce he has forfeited his heavyweight title.
Deferred from the draft because he was married with children, Frazier had not worried much about Vietnam.
How about Cassius Clay? What's your feeling about that situation?
Well, to me, if you like you stepping in politics on me, that's a little out of my line.
I mean, about fighting him, how do you think you would make out?
I would love to fight Clay.
It was a